Hello, we're here today to talk about this new app called Wunderlist and what it would look like to implement it in our ninth grade students through our ninth grade team. Our ninth grade team has recently discussed the role of student planners and how students are not using them very effectively to manage their work. Also, most of our teachers are not taking the time to check planners as we're supposed to, because it takes a large chunk out of our class time every day to walk around and check individual planners. And so we're looking for a better option. Wunderlist, I believe, will provide that option for us. It will not only perform all the functions of a planner by creating our to-do and organizing list, it puts it all into a digital world. And that's really the world that we're preparing our students for. Keeping in mind our school mission about preparing students to become productive members of a global society and preparing them for the world of tomorrow. The workforce of tomorrow is a digital realm. So we're trying to offer students the skills to manage themselves and to organize in this digital world. And this is going to be a way for them to do that. Not only will it allow them to manage their work, it is a great way for them to start collaborating with each other and with teachers. Um, this app will sync across any and all devices. You can see here, there are downloads available for Mac, for PCs, for Chromebooks, for Kindles, iPads, iPhones, Androids. So teachers and students can be connected with their work through all of their devices. So let's get started in taking a look at what Wunderlist looks like. Here you can see my screen as I first signed in. You can see all my lists that I have right now over here on the left and just my regular inbox. And this is where my lists will appear. So once students create their account, which is just a matter of either downloading the app or going to www.wunderlist.com, you have to enter your email because everything on here syncs with your email. And then you're ready to go. So over here on this side, we can create a list. Students will be asked to create a list for each of their classes to monitor all of their tasks, to keep them on track, to make sure they're completing their homework on time and doing their work. So all you do is click the create a list, give your list a name, and save it. And then all my lists are over here manageable. I could rearrange these if I want them, in order of the classes I have them. I have English first hour, algebra second hour, and so on. Oops, I made a little typo there. We can fix that though. Edit that list. There we go. The part that's really going to be great about this app is one, that it's digitally, so students can access it anywhere, anytime. They can't forget their planner in their locker or lose it because they left it in math class yesterday. They always have access to this on all of their devices. And even better than that, all of these lists can be shared. So up here you can see the share button. So if I click on that, I can now share this list with anyone I want to. For example, I could share it with my teacher. All I do is type in their email or their name if I have them as a contact, and then save. Now, anything I add to this list will be shared with my teacher, and I can start adding any of my to-dos. Let's say I need to read chapter 4 tonight. Type it in, hit enter, and there we go. Maybe I also need to do exercises 2 through 10. And there we go. Maybe I need to really make sure I read the chapter. I'm going to star that one because I always forget to do my reading. You'll notice over here, it also showed up in a special list of starred items, things that were really important to get done. Or you know what? Maybe that's not so important. I changed my mind. I'll take that star back off. I also need to create a how-to note sheet for this class. And this is kind of a big project. I'm going to set a due date for this. If I click this calendar button over here, here comes my calendar. You can see that today's the 23rd, and let's say this project's due on Wednesday. So I'm going to give myself a due date. That way I can really keep track of all of my assignments. And we're really working on students to time manage and prioritize their work. So this due date tool is going to help them figure out which things need to be done first and prioritize that work. They can also set reminders for themselves. So it's due on Wednesday. Maybe I need a reminder the day before, make sure I've got it done. I can set a reminder for, let's say, 3 o'clock, right after school as I'm setting my homework. And now I have that reminder set. I have my due date. I can see it on my list here. Here's when it's due. I can also see over here, it's popped up as my calendar. So anything I assign due dates to is going to have that. Let's go back and assign due dates to these other assignments. If I double click on one of these, here's my now I can edit anything there. I need to set a due date for this one also. This one's due on Monday. Save that one there. And let's say this one is due, let's say this one's due on Thursday, just so we have different due dates in there. Okay, so we can see everything in my list. Again, I can rearrange these if I'd like, if I want them to be in order of due date just by clicking and dragging. Also, if I look over here at my week, you can see that it's broken up everything and told me what days they're due. And it also tells me what lists they're in, so I can keep track of everything. Let's go ahead and add something to a different class. Let's add something to English here. I need to read about Edgar Allan Poe. And I need to do that by next week on Wednesday. We'll go ahead and set that date. Now let's go back and look at my week and see. Oops. Get that added there. It's due on Wednesday. Don't forget to enter so it shows up on your list. Now let's go back to my week. And you can see how everything on here has their due dates. I'm going to go back and change this one. I want to do on Wednesday. There we go. So it's broken up by days, and it's telling me which classes I have to do. Again, so students can work on managing all of their to-do lists, all of their items they have to get done, and keeping themselves organized and on track with time management and prioritizing their work. They can plan ahead and say, well, I have English and math due this day. That's the homework that's going to take priority that night. Let's go into U.S. history and show a little bit more about how we can subdivide tasks. Let's say we have a big group project going in history. I'm going to put my project in here as a task, and I have 2 weeks to do this project, so it's not due till December 7th. I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. Now, we know that projects have a lot of steps to them, right? We want students really managing a lot of things here. So if we open up this group project, you notice that there's an option, there's our due date, here's our reminders. I can add a subtask. So students can work on breaking down large assignments into manageable tasks. Maybe our first task is to read chapter 7. And then I'm going to have to create a note sheet about that. Choose a historical figure. And we'll have to do some research about that figure. And I can add all of these tasks underneath my group project. And then all I have to do is open it up and I can see each of those tasks. Now, maybe we've completed some of them, but not all of them. We've done all of these things. Now it's time to do our research. You can see how, as I was finishing things, this bar started appearing, how I can see how close I am to being finished. Of course, these things, you can always add more. Then we need to create a PowerPoint. And that's going to affect how much of my project is done. Our overall goal in this is for students to learn how to manage their time and manage these tasks themselves. So starting off, teachers will really heavily monitor the breaking down of these tasks and the creating of these to-do lists. And then as students get older and as they get more used to handling this app and handling the workload that comes with high school, they'll start managing these things on their own. However, again, as a group project, this offers a great tool because these lists can be shared. So they can share it with everyone in their group and they can assign these tasks to different people. And then once they're completed, you can see who did each thing on this list. Let's say my group project's all the way done. I can see when it was completed, and if there were anyone else on this list, it would show me who completed those items. So everyone can stay on track of what they're doing. Let's go do some more interesting things. Let's take a look at English. Let's say I have a question about my project about Edgar Allan Poe. I can add a note to this, and maybe I need to ask my teacher what was the link for this. By adding that note, the little icon appears here. Now my teacher can see that on hers if I share it with her, and they can respond to me with their own message. So we can have a conversation right here inside my to-do list. So if I have a question, I don't have to wait for class to start to ask it. And as teachers are monitoring my workload, they can see what questions I've had, and I can have everything I need all in one place. You notice there's also options to add a file. I can add a voice recording, I can add a file from Dropbox, or I can add something from my folders here on my computer. So this is going to offer an opportunity for me to provide examples of my work for my teacher. If this is a bigger assignment, I can upload these files so my teacher can monitor my progress. And again, they can do this now from anywhere, from their computer or from their phone. I can take a picture of my work or do a voice recording of where I'm at, and teachers can monitor my progress through these long projects. So really what we see is it's going to do the primary function of our planners. It's going to give a student a place to keep track of all of their work and all of the things they need to accomplish. However, it's not only going to do it better, it's going to take all of that to a higher level. First of all, students have everything digitally across all their devices. No more, I forgot my planner excuse. Second of all, it's going to allow a space for students to collaborate on their work with each other and with their teachers. Students can communicate about each thing in their list. They can, oh, that's my grocery list. They can add notes, add files to keep teachers updated on their progress. They can have conversations with teachers. I can assign tasks to different people in my group. I can prioritize my work with the calendar that's already set up for me. I can manage things from my inbox, from my email, and it's going to do all of those things for me. Plus, one more I haven't shared yet. You can see here now that I'm at my Chrome web store. Wunderlist also offers add-ons for Chrome and Safari, so no matter if you're a PC or a Mac user, you can still use this app. And you can now add it as an extension in your browser by using your web store. So I've already added mine to Chrome. So you can see I have my button right here up on my tab. So what this means is whilst I'm doing research, let's say I found this really cool website about Benjamin Franklin here that I want to add in my history tab for my project I'm doing. All I have to do is click this button and it pops up for me. It's got an explanation of my website. It's got the link and a quick title for me. All I have to do is make sure it goes in my US history list by picking the list and then adding it. And now it's there for me to use. So as I'm doing research, I can tidy everything up into my Wunderlist. So as I go back to my Wunderlist tab, you can see it's already been added here. If I click this, it opens up. There's what it said. There was my title. I can follow the link back to the website. And I can leave myself subtasks for what I needed to do here. I need to read it. I need to look for inventions of Benjamin Franklin, and I need to look for quotes about while I'm reading this. So again, we're offering students a better way to stay organized with their work and a way to really prioritize and manage their world as we are entering into this digital world, preparing students to do this on their own. So ideally, teachers will create this with their students as we start them out in 9th grade. As students become comfortable, they'll start creating their lists in collaboration with the teacher. And moving forward, they'll be monitoring all this themselves. They'll be creating their lists, they'll be creating their subtasks, they'll be putting their research on here, and all the teacher will have to do is monitor it. And this provides an excellent opportunity for teachers to do this quickly and on their own time. I don't have to take time out of class to walk around and look at everybody's planner and read everything. I can simply look at my phone or my computer, and I can look at students I'm worried about, or I can look at my homeroom students to make sure they're on track, and I can at a glance see where everything is. I can see anything that's been completed or not completed and when that was done. So I'm now facilitating, I'm monitoring their own progress, and students are really organizing themselves. That's our primary goal to this app. So there's lots of information I shared with you, lots of things you can do. Hopefully, we will see some advantages to using Wunderlist in our classrooms now.